What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to show you guys something very interesting and a little bit concerning that I discovered at a restaurant. So have you ever been to a restaurant and had to use those little kiosks instead of ordering from a person at the register? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. But here's the crazy part. There was actually an employee working at the register who was just cleaning the tables. The restaurant had employees working multiple jobs instead of hiring more staff. But that's not even the crazy part. The kiosk only accepts cards, no cash, no tap to pay, nothing else. This is not just happening at restaurants, but also at the banks. In fact, I recently went to a bank to get my cash broken down, and they flat out told me no, encouraging me to use the ATM instead. So why is this happening? It's all tied to the bank's desire to move away from cash and towards a central bank digital currency. But what does this mean for us as customers and cash-carrying American citizens? It means that they're phasing out cash and the millions of Americans who rely on it on their day-to-day lives. I mean, can you imagine a world where you won't be able to have any access to your cash? Here's a quick take on the whole thing. Take a look.
Here's what we don't want: a cashless society. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially an electronic currency run by the government, kind of like crypto. So let's talk about the issues. The government potentially has the ability to block you from using your own money at their discretion. And cashless transactions, even now, carry data about you and your spending habits, meaning that it would be impossible to buy something without someone being able to track you. And we all know that companies and governments don't have our best interests at heart. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. This is a very deep rabbit hole I went into for you guys, so you're going to want to stick around to find out exactly what else I discovered about their plans to edge out the American middle class. Let's get into it. By the way, for the best way to invest in gold, there is a link in the description down below of this video, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and just start with how they're just basically doing a massive laying off of workers, just plain overworking the ones that they leave behind. Case in point, Twitter, under Elon Musk, the billionaire CEO and entrepreneur, took over the social media company a while back, and here are the headlines about them now. Elon Musk tells Twitter staff to work long hours at high intensity or leave. Photo exposes overworked Twitter employees sleeping on the office floor. Crazy. Twitter employees head for the exits after Elon Musk's extremely hardcore work ultimatum. Now, we've talked about the harsh impact of layoffs on working class Americans and everybody's cash flow. Yes, but like I shared in my story earlier, mass layoffs, they're also making things tougher for the employees that are left behind. Basically, it's a work environment that people have described as something like Chinese water torture. Every day, they wake up wondering if they'll still have a job by the end of it. Every task they undertake feels like a potential landmine, with any mistake or misstep putting them at risk of being the next to be let go. And to make things worse, they're expected to pick up the slack from their now departed colleagues without any extra pay. It's no surprise that this leads to a collective feeling of hopelessness and disengagement. The best and brightest employees have more options due to their skill sets and their reputation, and usually they're the first to jump ship. And you know who they can blame? No one wants to be the last person standing in a sinking ship. Oh, and let's not forget how businesses are actually trying to make their customers do the work. Just look at Walmart and other big grocery chains like Kroger's. They have more self-checkout counters than they do man counters. I mean, at this point, it won't surprise me when the restaurants start providing disposable wipes so the customers can clean their own tables. Heck, we already have to self-check at Walmart, so why not put cleaning tables on the customer too, right? Can I get an amen, guys? Now, the situation is not helped at all by the fact that the companies are all too happy to blame their layoffs on external factors like inflation and the economy, when in reality, they're just bad at managing their resources. And it's the hardworking average employees that are getting the short end of the stick. Now, of course, the C-suite level executives are largely immune from the downsizings. And of course, their bonuses, stock options, or salaries, they're not cut due to ill-advised business decisions. They will still earn small fortunes. Meanwhile, the average worker or the hardworking people who were given pink slips and unceremoniously shown to the virtual door via email. Now, if you're a CEO or executive, take note. There are better ways to manage your workforce than just laying people off. And as the last 3 years have reminded us, having too few workers is almost worse than having too many. When organizations are shorthanded, morale plunges and profits suffer. And companies often end up investing immense time and effort to rebuild their workforces not long after whittling them down. Let's not make massive layoffs something that's business as usual. I mean, am I right? Then there's the move to make America a cashless society. And then, of course, there's CBDC. Now, right off the bat, I'm just going to say that this is going to be a little bit harsh for homeless people who would basically be edged out of society together, as they won't have any access or any way of receiving money from people. It's already started in Switzerland, not far from Davos, as a matter of fact, where the WF tends to hang out. So Switzerland still uses cash, but in general, people are using less cash than before. But this makes state surveillance much easier, meaning their transaction into electronic payments and things like a CBDC. It makes it easier for the government to keep track of what people are doing. They've already collected 11,000 signatures in favor of holding a referendum on whether cash should continue to be used in the Swiss society. The number of signatories means that the referendum will go ahead. The draft also proposes a vote on whether the Swiss franc should be replaced with another currency or not. And so this could be in reference to the CBDC for the country. Now, are we going to actually see a vote like this right here in the United States? The United States is pretty likely to go cashless because in 2022, 40% of Americans did not use cash at all. Now, that is a big change just from 7 years ago in 2015, when less than a quarter of people preferred going cashless. And this is kind of scary because these people are voluntarily walking away from cash and using cash less. They're not even being forced not to. Now, a survey even found that 60% of people only use cash occasionally in 2022, which is double the number from 5 years ago. C-19 messed with the way that people paid for things in the United States, just like in the UK. In 2021, only 20% of purchases were made with cash, which is down 11% from 2016. Credit cards made up 28% of the payments. Debit cards were responsible for 29%. Basically, C-19 made people change how they paid for stuff, and some people were worried about catching the virus from the cash money, which even caused a coin shortage at one point. The United States might be one of the first countries to go fully cashless, so watch out, guys. Many companies are making big promises about cashless payments. You'll soon be able to buy whatever you want, whatever you need, with just a tap of a button, the scan of your phone, or the swipe of a card. But in our collective hurry to spend more money with greater speed and ease, we're leaving millions and millions of Americans behind and even more at risk, and pretty much benefiting only a few at the top. Looking from the outside in, who really gets left behind when you can't make purchases with cash? People who are already vulnerable in one way or another. Making a shift to cashless just one more addition to the growing divide between the wealthy and pretty much everybody else. And it's not a small number of people. Millions of Americans are excluded when you require them to pay with a card or an app. 1 in 4 Americans are unbanked or underbanked, according to the FDIC. And so this includes people who don't have a bank account of any kind or don't have access to some banking services. These consumers primarily use alternative financial services, check cashing, money orders, rent to own rather than traditional banking. And so many people fall into this group because of issues with their credit history through a mistake, maybe a misfortune. For example, 2/3 of bankruptcies are caused by medical issues. Some consumers' credit history is impacted by their choice not to participate in the traditional banking system. The result is that these households don't have the reliable access to credit or debit cards needed to participate in a cashless system, and this means that many of these consumers are just completely shut out by the technology. I'm already imagining a collapsing society where theft and robbery are starting to become more of a normal occurrence, and you know it's the small businesses who are going to bear the brunt of this. Immigrant communities can be especially vulnerable to discrimination that results from cashless payment options. In Sweden, the country that has moved the furthest away from cash, immigrants are feeling the impact. Swedish bank account requirements for residents are making it hard for immigrants, regardless of documentation, to participate in this growing part of their economy. An increased reliance on electronic regulated transactions means that government regulators could easily exclude millions of immigrants from large swaths of the economy through a minor regulatory change. Seniors are another group of consumers that are excluded by cashless societies. Some stores just don't go cashless. They even require customers to get their app, which means the barriers are even higher for older consumers. So yeah, seniors are most likely to be excluded by these businesses. Only a quarter of those who are over the age of 65 have a smartphone, and the elderly write checks as their preferred payment method more than any other age group. And then of course we got to talk about the risky behavior here. Like, one of the primary concerns that prevent consumers from adopting mobile and cashless payment systems is a lack of trust in the safety of the systems, which many shoppers worried about their control of their data. Recent data breaches at major companies have shown that consumers have good reason to be concerned. Some of the most devastating hacks have involved the technology that would be the backbone of any cashless transaction system. A total of 147.9 million accounts at Equifax credit scoring bureau were hacked in 2017. It took the company almost 3 months to discover the hack even took place, and they waited another 3 months before they even told consumers that their personal information had been stolen. Several retailers have also been victims of massive data breaches targeting their payment systems, including stores that now want you to use their cashless payment systems. These include companies like Target, 110 million credit and debit card numbers, TJ Maxx, 94 million accounts, Uber, 57 million users. But let's be real. Shoppers and workers are not the ones benefiting from cashless. The real winners are the big banks and the credit card companies who process your payments. And so this is because while a cash transaction is between you and the merchant, an electronic payment means that the big financial transaction companies, they get more of a cut of your spending. So this is why CEO of Bank of America says, quote, "We have more to gain than anybody," end quote, in the move toward the cashless society. The shift to cashless also means an overall increase in prices that we pay every day, as the cost of processing these payments is also passed along by businesses to consumers. Small businesses in particular, they struggle with these small fees because larger businesses have more resources to negotiate lower fees and can bear the brunt of the overhead a little bit more easily. So here's a quick take from a laundromat.
This is probably the number one question people have asked me since I started making laundromat videos, and it's about time I answer it. So as most people know, there's a credit card processing fee associated with each credit card transaction that gets charged to the business owner. These fees range from 2.5% to 3%, which is pretty standard. On top of credit card fees, there's also chargebacks associated with credit card transactions. This happens when the customer reports fraud on their credit card and the transaction is reversed. But those aren't the reasons why I don't take credit cards. The real reason is it would cost way too much money to integrate the card system to the machines. And if I did integrate, it would take way too long to get my money back. So in this case, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Good luck, guys.
Our country's economy has always been driven by innovation and new technology. But with so many workers and families being left behind by the cashless retail push, our economy has always been driven by innovation and new technology. But with so many workers and families being left behind by the cashless retail push, we need to decide if this is the future that we want. If you want to protect good paying jobs and an economy where everyone can participate, you may want to think twice about where you shop and how you pay for your next trip to the store. So here are some things that we could do to slow down the trend toward a cashless society. When eating out, choose small, locally owned restaurants instead of big chain restaurants. Small restaurants are more likely to continue accepting cash payments for a longer period of time. If you need to break big bills, try to do it at a larger grocery store that still handles a lot of cash transactions. And whenever possible, support the small independent businesses. Consider keeping some money on prepaid debit cards like MasterCard or Visa, or even in a PayPal account. PayPal even has a card that can be used like a credit or debit card, and that can be used anywhere where they accept credit card payments. But let me know some other ways that you guys can take care of your cash. Just drop a quick tip in the comment section down below. As always, I'm always here for you guys, and I also like learning from you. So make sure you just stay subscribed and keep that notification bell turned on. Just to sum up today's financial news update, more and more businesses are phasing out cash and moving toward card-only transactions, like the little kiosks in the restaurant. And the banks are making it harder to access cash, which could lead to a future with central bank digital currency. It's definitely a trend to keep an eye on, so make sure you don't miss out on the next update. Be sure to check out the link in the description down below for the very best way to invest in gold. Please be kind to one another, and I'll see you guys on the next one.